Hey everybody, it's me Fadi. Welcome to my aquarium channel. Today I'll talk about UV sterilizer and how to set it up. UV is widely used in commercial setups like aquaculture facilities, aquatic wholesalers, public aquariums, and some local fish stores. UV or ultraviolet sterilizer has a UV bulb in a watertight compartment. When microorganisms such as algae, bacteria, and parasites are exposed to UV radiation, it damages their DNA and they die. UV sterilizer have no effect on beneficial bacteria and nitrifying bacteria, so it will not affect the nitrogen cycle. The majority of the nitrifying bacteria lives on the sand and live rocks and not free swimming, so it will not be affected by the UV sterilizer. Copepods will not be affected by UV as they are also found on surfaces and not free swimming. However, you can't use UV when carbon dosing or using biopellets. The UV will kill the free swimming bacteria that consumes the extra nutrients. In aquariums, there are two main reasons to use a UV sterilizer. The first one is to clarify the water, and the second one is to control fish diseases and parasites. The UV sterilizer clarifies the water by killing free-floating algae and bacteria and can reduce the algae film on the glass. Keep in mind that a UV will not wipe out problematic algae and bacteria like hair algae, Priopsis, and cyano growing on the rocks and corals. However, it can be effective against some types of dino. The other common use for UV sterilizer is to prevent fish disease. A UV can reduce the number of parasites in the water column, making it easier to treat an outbreak and reduce the impact. However, it won't prevent or eliminate the disease completely. Some diseases like egg are not free swimming all the time. Egg have a life cycle that sometimes can be free swimming and sometimes it's not a free swimming. To prevent fish diseases, the best method is to quarantine all new arrivals in a separate quarantine tank. As for water clarity, I think using carbon or ozone is better option than UV. Remember that not all the things that make the water unclear is living organisms. Non-living particles will not be affected by UV. Activated carbon and ozone is more suitable for clearing non-living particles. UV can be helpful in removing bacterial blooms and in crowded, heavily stocked aquariums or commercial systems and farm to minimize any chances of disease outbreak. To get the full benefits, you will need a properly sized UV sterilizer with enough wattage and flow to perform as needed. How to determine the correct wattage and flow for your tank? First, you will need to figure out the main reason to use a UV sterilizer. Is it for disease control or is it for water clarification? Sterilization and disease control will need high wattage UV bulb with slow flow to give the UV sterilizer enough power and time to kill the parasite. For clarification, you will need a high flow. Flow through the UV sterilizer is what determines the kill ratio of the microorganisms. Too fast, the parasite will slip through it, and too low, it may heat up the water and shorten the life of the UV bulb. Today I'm showing you the Aquamedic UV sterilizer. There are different models of Aquamedic UV sterilizer. Here are the wattage recommendation for tank size and flow. These numbers are for managing fish diseases and parasites. For clarifying the water, you will need more flow, from 3 to 5 times turnover rate. That means for 100 gallon you will need anywhere from 300 to 500 gallons per hour. It's better to have a dedicated pump to feed the UV. It will be easier to control the flow. You can mount the UV vertically or horizontally. In both cases, you will need to make the output higher than the input to make sure that there are no trapped bubbles inside. The optimal scenario is to feed the UV sterilizer from main display and return the water back to display. If it's not possible, you can put a feed pump in the first section of the sump to feed the UV and the UV output to return section in your sump. Now I'll show you how to install this 36 watt Aquamedic UV sterilizer to my aquarium. I will feed it with this Tanzi pump. You can use flexible tubing or hard PVC tubing, anything will work. Connect your choice of tubing with the pump. Then install the UV bulb and close the sterilizer lid. Connect the ballast, but don't connect the ballast to power yet. Turn the feed pump on. Remember, don't ever run the UV lights on without water flowing through the UV sterilizer. This will damage the UV light. When the water starts going out of the UV unit, you can start the UV light. And you will need to change the UV bulb every year to make that the UV sterilizer is working at optimal conditions. In conclusion, UV sterilizer is not a required piece of equipment for every reef tank. Many reefers have great success without using UV sterilizer. So it's totally up to you to use one or not to use it. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you soon in the next video.